Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. Let's get straight to it. Now, the debate surrounding Nigeria's economic progress since 1960 has sparked intense discussion, particularly between presidential aide Bayo Onanuga and outgoing African Development Bank President Akinwumi Adesina. Adesina claims Nigeria's GDP per capita was $1,847 in 1960, has now dropped to $824. However, Onanuga disputed these figures, citing data that shows Nigeria's GDP in 1960 was $4.2 billion with a per capita income of just $93 due to a population of 44.9 million. Well, let's take a listen.
What are we supposed to be? Suddenly, Nigeria, 64 years after independence, should not be a developing country. Nigeria should be a developed nation. As president of the African Development Bank, as I travel around Africa, one issue that often marks conversations is, when will Nigeria develop? I have listened to several leaders tell me that the rise of Africa depends on the rise of Nigeria. As the largest black nation on earth, we carry within us the hopes and aspirations of our black people in the world. The yearnings that this nation will become a beacon in the world and an inspiration that will elevate the whole continent of Africa. It is therefore time that we start thinking of Nigeria, not in terms of what or where we currently are, or how we currently see ourselves, but rather in terms of the responsibility of history that we must lift all of Africa. When the Gulf region was to develop, it took Saudi Arabia to set the pace. And today, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Kuwait, each of those nations have risen to become global giants. When Europe had to develop, it needed Germany, the United Kingdom, and France to spur the growth across the continent. When Asia had to develop, it took China, Japan, and South Korea to spark even wider growth from Singapore to India, Malaysia, and Indonesia. For Africa to develop, it needs Nigeria to develop faster.
On the contrary, President Bola Tinubu has revealed that he was so overwhelmed by Nigeria's economic challenges during his early days in office that he nearly withdrew from the media entirely. Speaking during a visit to Katsina State over the weekend, Tinubu admitted that the wave of criticism and tough realities of leadership made him consider tuning out from newspapers and broadcast altogether. Take a listen.
Now is a success. The economy is turning around. It has bent the corner. When we started, it was challenging. I almost run away from watching the news or reading the newspapers. I just discouraged and stay put on my decisions, believing that the ability of a leader to take a decision at the right time is the hallmark of leadership. We took it, we stay with it, and it will be rewarding. It is already bearing.
Well, joining me in the studio live to discuss this is Olusesan Okunade. He's a policy and public affairs analyst. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Dabo, and good evening to all our viewers across the globe.
All right, let me pick it from the sound on tape. We just heard the president, say on TV. He used the words. He said the economy is turning around. I would like to put this in tandem with what Dr. Adesina did say in that broadcast too, and how pivotal Nigeria's economy is, to the rest of Africa. Looking at what Dr. Adesina said, the revelations he has given as regards the latest realities of the Nigerian economy and what Mr. President is saying, what's your take?
Thank you very much. Maybe I will start from the perspective of the reaction of the senior aide to Mr. President.
We'll even get to that because there's a lot to it.
Well, going by Mr. President and Femi Adesina, I think Mr. President is affirming Femi Akinwumi's position to make us understand that it's not been an easy task. Nigeria is not where they are supposed to be, which you can see Akinwumi, re-emphasizing to let us know that if Africa was transformed the way the United Emirates and the likes actually evolved out, the Africa relies solely on Nigeria, and without our economic growing, we might go nowhere. And Mr. President just alluded to that by saying he had to stay off reading newspapers and off media to actually concentrate in some of his firm decision in transforming things out, which, maybe as we continue in the program, we look at some of these policies and how it has impacted on an average Nigerian, because I can tell you that those policies seems good, but do we have a walkthrough to benefit the common man? The question will leave.
All right. Now, Dr. Adesina did raise or pick some issues, made some references even with data and all of that. But let's look at it also from the reaction of one of the president's aide, that's Mr. Bayo Onanuga. I'll pick an excerpt from what he wrote on social media, an extensive response to some of the things that Dr. Adesina said. He said, compared with 1960, Nigeria today has more primary, secondary, and tertiary schools. We have more road networks and more medical facilities, private and public. We have phenomenal access to telephones. At independence, we had 18,724 operational phone lines for a population of 45 million. Over 200 million Nigerians now enjoy near universal access to mobile phones and digital service, indicating that we are better off today than 65 years ago. Let me stop there. And then maybe we'll also look at some other deeper issues as regards, GDP and the like.
Maybe that more. It's quite interesting that the man is sounding like this.
Is infrastructure alone enough?
When you even talk about the infrastructure and you're talking about the telephone, it's actually making emphasis to here. How many people can afford? I was just at my level complaining at the level at which data just disappear off my phone.
Yeah, I think a lot of Nigerians are witnessing that.
So who cannot afford it? So you are holding the phone and you cannot do anything with it because of the cost of things. A lot of us have come to say, don't even blame the telecoms because the cost of operation is not just bearing. We are retrenching every day, and somebody is saying we have phones to go around with when you don't even have data on me to even do what is expected of you. In developed climes where things are happening, this data are as good as free because it enhances education, it enhances even the health sector, it cuts across. The same phone is actually calling for, it should ask people how many people can afford to get data on their level. The last recharge I did, I was of about 8,000. Ask yourself, that you need to do 8,000 cannot even take you for 2 weeks without doing anything. You just see the thing moving out. So if you have to go by what is actually saying that we have more people using telephones, do we give that credit to people? As at that period, do we even have computer? A lot of forefathers are actually using micro computers where you have a house built like this to actually get those data. But technologies are evolving. Our thought should be that this technology has come to stay. A lot of people should have access to it in an affordable price. But we are not getting that.
All right, let's also look at what the angle of some, what I call it state observers right now, particularly those that, sort of scrutinize the policies of President Bola Tinubu. Some of them will tell you that, look, Nigeria's economy before now even though it appeared better, was actually sinking. Meaning, some would even use the word force. The government was practically paying subsidy on everything, and at some point it became unsustainable. And for that reason, the country was immersed in all manner of debts, and there was corruption. And that right now, the economy is evolving into what it should actually be. Meaning that, number one, the government doesn't really have to pay for everything. There's more money for, infrastructural development and all of that. And for that reason, the president might know what he is doing. Do you think that is the case?
Yeah, well, people can say he knows what he's doing. I'm part of the people that supported the removal of subsidy, truth be told, because we felt we are actually paying just specific set of people to actually mine. But we still know deep down, corruption still pervades everywhere. There are misappropriation of funds that are meant for even individual down there. How many of it are we tracking? Since the advent of this government, how many people have we brought to justice? I will always make reference. It's you and I. It's on public domain. Heard about the allegation against a minister in this state. Where are we on that particular? The only thing we had was that she was actually suspended or removed from office. And you know the way it goes. In few times, the same person will still come. Did we actually charge the person to court for some of these things? And these are part of the problem. Mr. President can be working. We applauded him by saying so much money has been given to states. Who is monitoring the activities that are going down in the states to see the impact on the common man?
Shouldn't that be the people? Some will say it should be the people who should be able to go to their local government chairman.
Do you report some of those things in, and when you report them, what action are we taking? Those are areas people are speaking out on daily basis to say.
Are they speaking out enough?
They are speaking out
because it's going back. I'm going back to what. Yesterday we treated it. I don't know if my producer can actually get that clip of Senator Kingibe, who was actually sort of poking holes in the young persons of the country, saying that they are more into noise making than actual constructive criticism towards effective change. So are people really channeling? Are they speaking out enough? Are they carrying it out in the right direction to say, you leaders, we need to hold you accountable than just going on social media to rant and abuse?
I think possibly we are not getting certain things right when people come to criticize. I'll give you a practical example. Not too far from here in the state where I belong to, specific kilometers, I don't think it's even up to 1 kilometer on this Ogbaijai road. It's been there, I don't know, for close to 1 year, and I keep asking myself, if you have to do this, by the time we want to construct longer routes on that particular road, what becomes of it? I want to say that people are complaining. The channel of communication is really not there. It's only social media that people come to vent their anger on certain things that are actually happening to them. You go to education sector, look at what actually happened with the good intention Mr. President had on student loan. You saw the corruption that pervaded it. How many people have we brought to justice? The last I heard about it was that the Minister of Education will be meeting with the VC, when some people actually alluded to the fact that some of these funds were diverted. People that should be behind the bar to serve as deterrent are being called for meeting to tell them what to do again. Until we are intentional, and government is intentional, the concerned agency that should take those that are culpable of misappropriating the funds. We go nowhere. A lot of funds are concentrated on the states. But who is monitoring that the activities are going on at the state for the benefit of the people? Mr. President the other time said something. He said, hold your state governors accountable. How many people can come out to say this is the budget and the actual of their state and be able to present it? What can you say about the local government? We've spoken about autonomy of these local government people having access to their fund. Has that been implemented even by the state government?
I mean, there are so many hanging issues here, but we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be further delving into citizens' engagement when it comes to governance and politics. We'll also be looking at the ease of doing business. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and of course we're looking at state of affairs in the country, particularly as regards governance and the economy, with reference to the statement made by Dr. Adesina. Of course, I still have my guest with me. Olusesan Okunade is a policy and public affairs analyst. He joins me live in the studio. Thank you for staying with me.
Yes.
Well, let's quickly, before we go to the aspect of citizen engagement, and there's a clip there I'd like us to sort of watch. Looking at the policies of Mr. President or this administration, they keep insisting that it's yielding fruits, even though it's not felt at the grassroots level. A lot of people still complain about the cost of living, cost of items as basic as food, rent. Just in Lagos alone, there was a clip I saw on social media where the Lagos state government was sort of clearing out open spaces where people sleep outside. And from some of the clips I saw is many of them are actually homeless. It's not like, and that of course should reflect the realities of some persons. So my question is this: looking at the policies and the implementation, the approach of this administration, and its insistence that, look, we are getting results, why is it not, felt, particularly at the grassroots level?
Maybe I will just stand and they very comically you to say that, boy, if you ask me. The truth of the matter is
is it some people being greedy here? For instance, maybe
a lot of
people selling food items, for instance, who have refused to come down in spite of price of fuel and every other essential coming down to ease their business.
Those people will definitely take advantage because nobody is monitoring the activities. That's part of the problem.
So the approach right now should be from bottom to top?
Yeah. When you actually give relief and the middlemen are out there doing what they want to do, and the masses that some of these things are made for are not getting it and they are crying. But you that made the provision, you are very far from them. You are not even hearing their yearning. How will you be able to deal with the middleman that you've actually given some of those things to? I will continue to refer to the student loan. A good intention, which a lot of us criticize. I was against it. I'm of the opinion that give the basic infrastructure like we had during our forefathers. People like us, maybe we wouldn't have studied at all if Jack Conde did not do what was needful. He provided the infrastructure, he provided the books for us to read because our parents could not afford it. So it's not about giving individuals money to actually carry out some of these things. Those provisions were there for you to access, and that gives equity between everybody, both the rich, the middle class, and those that are downtrodden. So it gives you opportunity to have access to education, prove yourself, and be who you should be. But is that the state as we speak? The answer is no. How many of our public schools are functional? People can refer and say, come to Lagos State. You have some of these things. How many people can boldly say that their children are actually going to public school? Even the woman that is selling market at my 12 prefer to send the child to private school because he knows that there are basic infrastructure that are supposed to be there. While some of us were there, they give us textbooks, not even notebooks alone. These are things that parents are actually paying for now, and even their take-home cannot even afford some of these things. You want to talk about the health facility, primary health care center, where you go to the hospital, they provide food for you to eat, even during your antenatal, and basic drugs that you can. We hear that these things are available, but how many people? A lot of people divert some of these things. Government will make provision of certain things that should be given to people for free. Okay. They still pay money to have access to those things. And people, what we lack is proper monitoring of some of the things that are being carried out, and that create the gap.
Do you think that this monitoring can happen if public, officers are made to use public facility? Because there's this conversation around total disconnect of reality between the leaders and the people. So, for instance, a lot of recently, the news made the round that Aso Rock, for instance, voted about, is it 10 billion naira to sort of create a solar
we are tilting
solar farm
towards
solar farm in a way, maybe isolating Aso Rock from the greed. And for some Nigerians, they see it as a vote of no confidence in that sector. It's like telling people you're on your own now. So, and then you're telling people, there was also another report where Nigerians, to encourage local production, use of local, produce and all of that. The president is coming up with an initiative whereby if you are to bring in imported stuff, you must get a waiver and all of that. So you look at all of this, brilliant ideas. You said something about follow-up. Do you think that follow-up, that bottom-to-top approach, will happen, that monitoring will happen if public officers are made to use public facilities like schools, hospitals, maybe even the state should stop sponsoring, a bulk of their day-to-day living. Do you think that follow-up will happen that way?
Yeah, you see, until we come to that reality, I had an engagement with some people, and it will baffle you that when they give them, this access to say, you start paying for certain things within the confines of where they were, everybody repelled. And I'm like, what happened to those that are not within the premises of where you are? How do you expect them to survive? They pay the same thing outside that you are enjoying freely, until we come to that realization. For every civil servant to make use of a lot of them, and they throw it to our face. You hear the first one is graduating from one university in US, the second one in Canada, and they'll tell you it's what they can afford. We are not saying you cannot afford it. You had the money before you came to power. We are not disputing that fact. But you must lead by example to say that your firstborn is in one of the university in Southwest. The second one is having its engagement in one university in the North. Your thirdborn is here. Everything is being localized until we come to that realization. And Mr. President and other leaders must take the lead. Enough of we. During the last administration, that was what we're getting. Any little thing, we're going to UK for medical tourism. You understand? We are going on a work vacation. What exactly can we not do within? It's not that you are going for business engagement, work vacation, that you are still working there, but you just need to cool it out. Why can't we create an enabling environment where Mr. President wants to live here, like we had those days? Go to Tilapa, have fun. Go to Ikogosi, have fun. Develop those areas. By the time you go there, you beef up enough security in such a way that ordinary common man. Because when you create those activities, the woman that is selling water, that is selling all those things, we make one or two gain from some of the activities that will carry out there. But you are out here, leaving the shore of the country to go to UK. Who will follow you there to go there? You are taking our hard-earned money out there until we start holding some of these civil servants accountable to make sure that they domesticate some of the things that they are doing. Use the school that you have in here. You can imagine, if you are the Minister of Education, and your children, let's say 3 that you have, are in public university, will they go on strike? Because you will feel the pain that the common man is facing. But because a lot of them, their children are not here, they are not in the, go and look at, I give kudos to the alma mater of several public schools, because I will continue to say, while I was growing up, we have minimal private school. We all attended public school. But alma maters are going back to see how they can resuscitate some of the glory of some of this school. And that's why you can see some of them. You go to some classes, there are no benches, there are no board. The teachers cannot even have a place to sit. 100 of them are in a class. And this was not what it used to be while we are actually growing up. And it's because a lot of them are not having their children and their work participating in some of those things.
In the system. Well, talking about citizen engagement, which of course is also an integral part of, will I call it, state building right now. Let's take a listen to what a senator said, particularly as regards Nigeria's young generation. Take a listen to what she said.
Nigerian youths, they are complacent, they are quiet, all they do is grumble. We need to have constructive interaction. Do you understand? All I hear is grumblings and insults. That's not helpful. Do you understand? You guys, the country belongs to the youth. They should own it. Instead of a proper, what's the word, program or agenda, they will threaten a strike that of course everybody knows they're not going to go on. How does that achieve anything? But as he said, Nigeria is a mayday, mayday. I agree. Advice is to Nigerian youth. My advice to Nigerian people. This is your country. Own it. You have another country. I don't have another country. So we have to make it work. We have to do whatever is necessary to reclaim our country. do whatever is necessary to make sure that this country works for everybody.
Senator Ireti Kingibe there saying that Nigerians should own it when it comes to governance and being involved in their country. I'm going to put it to you. Based on what you said, do you think as citizens we are doing enough to hold our leaders to account?
First and foremost, let me say that that senator is disconnected even from the people that she herself is leading. I affirm when she said, all I hear. So thank God that she can hear something. All I hear is murmuring and people whispering. They don't have constructive criticism. If I want to put it before her, how many stakeholders engagement has she put before our constituency people to have the youth come talk? We have intelligent people among the youth. Look at how constructive they did it. They will always come and say, we want to protest. Because the leaders are not giving them the listening ear. And they feel that they want to, use the energy to get the attention of the government. For her to be saying that they are complacent, they don't have constructive, is a complete disconnect that we're talking of about our leaders and the younger ones and even the citizens themselves. Because if you have stakeholders engagement continuously, possibly every 2 months or every quarter with your people, you have the feeling that the youths are actually glowing. How many engagement or projects is she doing to develop the younger youth even in our constituency? This is the same thing you'll be hearing. It is not about you picking selected few that you feel can defend you when there are issues. To say, no, she's working. What about schools that are to be built? What about roads? We do hear about constituency projects. How many of it? It shocks me to hear that a constituency, a senator will be telling you that he's building a tank of water for people to be taken from. When what you should do is to see how we revamp the water corporation in states to channel water to everybody's home, as against you just going to a place and saying you're building water center.
There are several angles to this conversation because, if one is to, go into it extensively, we might not just have enough time. But I think this is where we will stop on this. Thank you so much for your time. Mr. Olusesan Okunade, it's been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
And hopefully we'll continue this some other time too.
Thank you very much.